Good afternoon, Chad. How you doing? Happy New
I'm
Year.
great. Happy New Year to you as
Yeah,
well. How
it's
are
our
you?
first. I'm good. It's our first time
Good.
meeting in the new year.
It
So
is.
you had some good time off with the family and friends.
We did. Yeah, usually we go somewhere around Christmas, New Year's time, but
Uh-huh.
this year we opted to stay home, and I had a nice little staycation, and um, my kids did some ski racing over the
Oh,
over
very
the holiday
good.
break. Um,
Well,
so yeah, it was great.
the way some of the weather and flights turned out, you were smart to not get on an airplane.
I am. I am. I planned that just right.
Perfect. Um, well, how has Pro Shop been going the last little while for you?
Pro shop's been going really good.
Yeah, what's the latest?
We're still clipping away at it. I think the last time we talked, I had just gotten all my shop leads up and going
Yep.
on Pro Shop. So now I have all my shop leads training their people. Uh,
Nice. Okay.
and I think one of the things that our implementation specialist Robert, he always has hit home is that the best way to learn Pro Shop is to teach it. So uh,
Absolutely.
so that's what I've tasked my shop leads with. So last week they started training their people,
Yep.
and that's continuing on into this week.
Okay,
Um,
fantastic. So they're actually starting to pull up work orders, track time, look at work instructions, or do whatever
yep,
you need to
yep, yeah.
do.
So in my Acme department, I've got probably half of them that are actually using the work orders,
Okay.
uh, logging in, time tracking.
Yep.
Um, and then versus all the way down to my secondary apartment right now, she just started training all of her people. Today they just started logging in and out for the day,
Okay.
and that's it. So
Yep.
they're, I would say, probably by the end of this week they're probably going to be digging into work orders.
Okay. And are you at the point yet where you're kind of forecasting the final day that you no longer use your old system and do like an official system of record change?
I have not come up with a date yet.
Okay.
uh, on the office side of things, we're running parallel right now.
Okay.
So
Yep.
all the customer POs that we're receiving
Hmm.
is getting entered in both locations.
Okay.
Um, I would assume that's going to continue on for the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Um, right, just trying to build up the system in
Absolutely.
Pro Shop
Sure.
right now. Um, so yeah, I don't have a cutoff date, but I know it's probably coming pretty soon.
Yeah. Who knows? February 1st, maybe, or
Yeah,
March at the latest, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
So yeah, we're making really good progress. Um,
And how are people? How are the? I know the leads took fairly well to it. How are their
they
folks
did.
taking to it? Any pushback? Any complaining?
Uh, no pushback. I think once they see it, you know, again, there's always a little bit of fear, but I think
Of
once they
course,
see
that's
it,
normal.
um, and or understand it, it's
Hmm.
it's smooth sailing. Our biggest obstacle right now, I've got two individuals. One is fully Spanish speaking,
Right.
and the other individual, he speaks pretty good Spanish. So there's translations
Sure.
going
Sure.
back and forth.
Yeah, I know we
Um,
talked about some potential options with Google Translate. None of them are perfect,
yep,
though.
yep. So yeah, we've got Google Translate on their computers,
Uh huh.
so they're able to read everything on their screen in Spanish.
Okay.
And it's going smooth. For them, the biggest thing that I've been hitting home with them is, we're going to be with you every day, right?
Right.
Whether that takes us 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year, right?
Hmm.
If we need somebody to be next to you to log in every day,
Right.
that's what we're going to do.
Right.
Uh, Eventually, they're going to get the muscle memory to
Of
to
course.
know where
Yeah.
they need to go. Um,
Nice.
so I feel confident that they're going to get it. It
Yeah.
just,
Well, that's nice to give them that kind of support and reassurance.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. And and on the just business side, new things you're learning, new things you're going to be moving into. What's in it for you?
For me, um, gosh, for me, I'm between the customer POs, building the parts. Um, that's where I'm in it. I just you and I were just talking, so I just got myself a new screen. So I got
Yeah,
four
four
screens going right
monitors.
now.
Four
Yeah, new
monitors. That is
monitors.
awesome.
Um, so that's been really nice. Today's day one of that. Um,
And have
so
you, yeah, I know you got our flying start package.
I
You're
did.
starting to think about moving into the QMS side of things yet?
Yeah. So last week we had discussions in our daily production meetings with calipers, micrometers, and getting that stuff tracked to work orders. So for
Okay.
us,
Yep.
currently we have to document, our each one of our calipers in our shop is, has its own uh,
Calibration. Yep.
ID number.
Yep.
And so linking those calipers up to the particular jobs that are running
Yep.
is what we're in the process of doing. So
Nice. Okay.
my quality manager right now is working just on calipers. We've got 44 calipers that are in the building,
Okay.
getting those all updated into the equipment module,
Yep.
and then from there moving on to the mics.
Okay. Awesome.
And yeah, so I would imagine by the end of this week, if not next week, she'll have all the calipers in there. Um, but then I started looking at the equipment module, right, and we're diving into, I see the 5S stuff there
Category. Yeah.
that we're looking at.
You
So of
know,
course, last week I started playing around with that a little bit.
have you guys done much formal 5S in the past?
Not formal 5S, no.
Okay.
Um,
But it's something you're interested in.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The equipment module is funny because it gets used. We realized after we built it that it's really effective at all sorts of other things that are not equipment, like
Sure.
anything that's on a recurring schedule that you want reminders of, and you need
Yeah.
to define who's in charge of it and what kind of work instructions or guidance to give them.
Yeah.
It's great for audits and 5S and management meetings. And I've even talked about having cloning the module with a separate name, like a scheduled, I don't know, activities module and something, and then
Yeah.
just have it be the same functions with just a different name. So, but who knows what we'll end up doing there.
Yeah.
Well, let's, and so you probably then you got one of the group came in, and then there was obviously one of the templates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share my screen here and I'll show you an example from the Pro CNC days of some things that we did with it. So here we'll go into the 5S category. So this, I believe, is probably what you got in your system. Does that look familiar to you?
It does.
Yep. So this obviously is just sort of a template, 5S area, fill in the description of where it is. And then there's only two different schedules that things are on. And, this is a template. Obviously, you can fill in, who's responsible and the frequency you're going to check it and all those sorts of things.
Sure.
But, the main thing that this is super helpful for is the last of the 5S's, the sustaining part, right? For most companies, that is the hard part because things get busy and it's not urgent. And so they just let it slide. So here's an example. This was what we called our sort of supplemental equipment area. In our shop, almost everything was on wheels except for the CNC machines, of course. But we would reconfigure the workstations depending on what that particular job needed. So this was a little chop saw, and we had small deburring tools, and here's a little hot saw, and we had vacuum pumps, and we had deburr stations, and they were all on wheels, and we would just wheel them into that machine, set it up for that workflow, and then put it back here when we were done. But before we did a formal 5S, it was just, chaos and things were just kind of scattered all over the place. And so, a nice picture of the area, and then some guidance of how often this is supposed to happen, what to check for, what to do. And then this thing has two schedules, one every 30 days. And then once a year, we're redoing the floor tape, to make sure it stays tidy. But, and then it tells you when it's due next. This is a demo system, so it's not actually current, but, Brian's supposed to be checking this, or actually the manufacturing manager, of which Brian is one of them, is supposed to be checking this every 30 days. And then this is probably, I don't know where this goes, probably goes to the tape. So there's the BOM item for the tape that you need for the floor to make sure you don't run out of it. So yeah, have at it, man. It's awesome that you're interested in doing 5S. And, I think, my advice would be, assign areas to people that really are going to own it themselves and take pride in making those areas beautiful and efficient and not cluttered. And, and then, maybe give some incentives for the lead that keeps the most great looking area, and, free pizza party for their department. Who knows what, right? Something that's just going to like incentivize them.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been playing around with it, and our frequencies are just even like just trying to get it down to like once a week, right? Simple things, right?
Sure.
Scrap buckets, chip bins emptied out, right?
Absolutely.
Floors are swept and mopped, right? Just simple stuff.
Yeah,
so,
there's some stuff that's
we've
daily
been playing around with
based.
that right now, and just seeing how just playing with it, and so I'm curious to see how that looks over the next coming weeks.
Awesome, very good. Yeah, one thing that we did as well, and I don't know if it would be in your system as a template, but it might be. We use ProShop part numbers as templates for larger Kaizen activities. So we would actually have like a Kaizen team that blitzed an area for 3 or 4 days to really like take everything out of it, put only back the necessary items, really define, exactly how this part of the business flowed. And that could be 5S, or it could be like a value stream mapping, activity. But a work order, a part driving a work order is a really effective way to build a systemized process so that you do it the same every time, and then you improve on it each time with the revisioning, and have pictures or work instructions, and it can really guide it to a really successful conclusion. So hopefully that's and we can drop some templates into your system even if they're not there today. So make sure to ask Robert about that, to have him show you.
I definitely will. Yeah, I'll put that in my questions on Wednesday.
There you go. Well, cool, Chad. Anything else you want to share with us before we let you go?
I don't think so. Did we go over the quality? I know we want to talk a little bit about the quality manual and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Let's dig into that for a second. So let me just reshare my screen. So when you got the flying start, you got a quality manual with all these different sections. You got a full set of procedures. There's probably about 30 of them or so. If we go into one of these, have you started filling in your people's names yet into these positions in the org chart?
Yes.
Okay, so they're probably in there. And you'd probably have them starting at Rev A, of course. And there'd be these flow charts talking about how this process works. So you're probably going to go in first thing and remove fax machine as a possible way to receive an RFQ. And then edit this as you see fit, unless you still get faxes, but
I don't think we do. No,
you don't even have a fax machine.
About a month ago. Why are we paying for this fax line?
But those tie into the company positions. But really, I think the clients that have had the most success with embracing this and having it become a core part of their company workflow, and then do their subsequent audits, your ISO audit or AS, whichever you have, in ProShop exclusively, will be to, review what we've given you and then just make the smallest amount of changes that you can to make it work for you. And I think a lot of clients, they're in the keeping 80% of it, editing 20% of it to their own liking. But as you probably know, your processes are changing compared to the way you used to do things. And so rather than starting with your old QMS documentation and importing 100% of it into ProShop and then editing it to make all the changes that the way ProShop now works, the least time investment for you is to just make the tweaks that you need to make it fit the ProShop workflow, right? And some of these get fairly deep into specific tasks that are maybe more more detailed. So like if we go into this one for, new customer receipt and reviewing POs, right? There's some text here about how at least we think of doing that in ProShop. But there may well be things that you want to do or you don't want to do that you want to add or remove from that. In a task like this, where there's no attachments, it's just, editing the actual
Sure.
draft of the document itself, making any tweaks to it, releasing that for approval, and then approving it and having it now be your standard process. So
now for my question is for this stuff right here, we have a outside consultant that we use
yes.
to help us with. Is there, I noticed there was something in there with the users, like a third party package. Is that
Oh yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
he can come, we can get him signed up to do
you could, yeah, for sure.
access
You
to
could
ProShop?
just he works he worked for you a long time. It's not just a one-time thing. He's just like a
Correct. Yeah,
partial
he's been
QMS
working with us
coordinator.
for 10 years. Yeah.
10 years. Wow. Awesome. Yeah, you could absolutely get a third-party license for him to just log in, do what he needs to do, help you. So does he help? So he's basically is he your QMS coordinator? Does he help you prepare your audits and things like that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, great role. Not every company has someone like that on staff or as a consultant. So it's great that you do. Help keep everything tidy and, ready to go all the time. But having them get familiar with it, having them talk to Robert or one of our QMS specialists like Michael or Kelly would be great. And I mean, the QMS side is fairly simple in its architecture. So once you got to get the idea of it, it all links together nicely and is going to be pretty fast and easy for you to get onboarded.
Okay.
So cool. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Glad things are continuing to go well. Let's, hopefully next week you might have a crossover date, system of record change kind of in your sites. And it'd be cool to see, how the last few weeks progress and when you finally flip the switch to no longer doing that dual entry process.
I can't wait to.
Yeah, I'm sure it's extra. It's not a lot of fun doing dual for weeks.
No. Yeah. So I think that's what's helping me push it along though too, right? The fact that I'm the one doing it, right? Is helping push for myself, making us want to make that switch even sooner.
Yeah.
Cool. Hopefully we're just a few weeks away.
Fantastic. Well, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. And thank you for sharing your journey with everybody.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, Chad. Talk to you again soon.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care.